Nu metal. A subgenre of alt metal combining heavy metal, mixing it with hip-hop, sprinkling a bit of industrial, and finally sauteing it with 90s grunge to create a polarizing and interesting style of music. Overall, it's a fantastic genre with a great sound that allowed some of the greatest bands of our time to sprout from the ground, not to mention how it blew up the popularity of MTV. You have the popular acts like Limp Bizkit, Korn, Deftones, even though they don't even consider themselves nu metal, but Google says otherwise, Linkin Park, and Papa Roach. There's also all the other amazing bands like Static X, Mudvayne, POD, Soulfly, Godsmack, Cold Chamber, Crazy Town Kitty, Seven Dust, and more. Most of the bands I listed are what immediately come to mind when it comes to nu metal, but we aren't talking about them in this video. We're talking about the band that transcends genres, having epic highs and deep lows in their songs, a band made up of 4 Armenian men from California. You know who I'm talking about.
Please welcome System of a Down.
But first, let me give you a quick backstory. Serge Tankian and Darren Malakian. We're in a band called Soil together with a few other guys. Shavo was there too, but he worked as one of the band's managers. But later he did play guitar for the band as well. After like one show at the Roxy, the band split up with the 2 other dudes leaving. Since Soil was no more, the remaining members, Darren, Serge, and Shavo, they formed their own band, and just like that, System of a Down was born! This was also when Shavo became the bassist, and they also hired the drummer, Andy During this time, the band was making a bunch of demo tapes through 1995 and 1997. Also, relating to Andy, he broke his hand, and he had to drop out of the band. And that's how we got John. After the 4 dudes were spotted at playing in numerous famous clubs and Hollywood, they caught the eye of Rick Rubin, their future producer. In this time frame, they got signed to Columbia and were now laying the first tracks of their album, which would become the self-titled album. And pretty much the rest is history. They played at Ozfest. They got featured on that one South Park album. In 01, they released Toxicity, best album in my opinion, to be honest. And with Toxicity being released, so is their most popular song, Chop Suey, which, to mention, in mid-April of this year, it did hit 1 billion Spotify streams. After the release of Toxicity, they began working on Still This album, and then later on, working on the sister albums, Hypnotize and Mesmerize, which is a great body of work in my opinion. They won a Grammy for the song Question, got nominated for a Grammy with the song Lonely Day, but in this point in time, they were about to take a break in 2006. All the members, they started doing their side projects. Darren with Stars on Broadway. Shavo was doing his thing with one of the members of the Wu-Tang Clan. Serge was releasing solo work, and we don't know where John is in this time frame. Around this time, fans started to speculate because they're like, hey, where's the new music? And the band was like, oh, don't worry, it's coming. Then later on, Shavo was asked in the Q&A about new music, and his response was basically
I don't know. Nobody knows. That's the fuck of it all.
This was the time where all the members started to single each other out. Darren singled out Serge, John singled out everyone in the band, and he used the whole creative differences excuse on all of us. Is it creative differences, or do you not like each other? But around the year 2020, the hiatus was lifted. Sorta. Basically, in 2020, a war started between Armenia and Azerbaijan over territorial disputes over Nagorno-Karabakh. Basically, they were fighting for that little place and the surrounding territories. In the end, this resulted in Azerbaijan winning this said war. The band released 2 new songs, their first songs in over 15 years, Protect the Land and Genocide of Humanoids. The proceeds made from both songs were to go to displaced families of said war. The latest System news is that they're playing at Sick New World in a couple of days, which pretty epic, not gonna lie. What makes System of a Down stick out from the rest of its new metal counterparts is its blending of different sounds and genres, taking some inspiration from their own Armenian roots, with songs like Ardo, Soil Science, and Deer Dance. The foundation of the band consists of the aforementioned members, Serge, Darren, Shavo, and John. If rated on a scale of attractiveness, the majority of the fandom, and me, would have to give it to Darren Malakian. Honestly, the new fandom is pretty crazy when it comes to simping over the members, especially Serge and Darren. Hell, fanfic even exists of them together. And so, since I found that, you have to go through my fucking suffering. Darren watched as Serge walked through the door. In all his glory, he smiled and waved. That fucking smile, it always made Darren feel okay. He leaned against the counter and waited for Serge to speak. Good morning, Darren, the taller said. Morning. What got you so early? Darren yawned, rubbing his own eyes. He suddenly felt nervous when Serge looked at him. Oh, I was just stopping by for the usual, and to say hello. I'm heading over to a friend's house. Serge shrugged. Darren nodded and got Serge's coffee ready. He grabbed a donut and slid it in a paper bag. As Darren was handing Serge's coffee, their hands made contact. His face flushed and he avoided eye contact with the older. Here you go. The smaller stuttered. Serge smirked and put the money for his stuff on the counter. What's got you so anxious, huh? He said. You boys make me nervous. What the hell? Okay, so now we're done with that mess. It's time to look at some songs. Overall, their song work is amazing, with lyrics from Darren and Serge. The band's catalog is more than stellar. The songs dealing with political themes, drugs, sewer slide, dipping their toes into the Iraq War, the Tiananmen Square protest, the war on drugs, war on terror, bureaucracy, globalization, police brutality, etc., etc. Speaking of songs, it's time to tell you my top System of a Down tracks, album by album. From the self-titled, we have No Spiders. Yes, I know 2 of these songs are singles, but hear me out. I love the guitar playing on Sugar. Serge gives amazing vocals on Spiders, and the drumming on No will never not be my favorite. Toxicity, we have Forest, Bounce, and Deer Dance. I love the energy on Bounce so much. It's so chaotic and fun. Gotta be one of my favorite System tracks. With Forest, I really enjoy the lyrics. Deer Dance, I love that iconic riff so fucking much. From Steal This Album, we have Ego Brain and Roulette. Their most underrated project to date, in my opinion. I love the chanting on Darren and Serge's vocals on Ego Brain were too good, and I love Darren's guitar solo on Roulette. It's so fucking top tier. On the 2 sister albums, on Mesmerize, there's Radio and Video, Questions, and Lost in Hollywood. I love Radio Video. Has to be one of my fucking favorites. Not only does it feature both Serge and Darren's vocals, Question will always be a favorite for me because of its instrumentation and great vocals from Serge. Lost in Hollywood, Darren's little speech thingy on the last part of the song. He also says the British version of Cigarette in the song. Hypnotize. I love the title track, Kill Rock and Roll and Stealing Society. Title track, good. It's so good. Both Serge and Darren's parts were great. Darren's singing on the second verse is just chef's kiss. Kill Rock and Roll, basically the same thing I said with Radio Video. The chorus of that song is so banging. Okay, while researching for the video, I found out that the song is about Darren accidentally killing a rabbit via running it over. So, that's good to know. Stealing Society's rapping portion will always be so fucking fire. Some miscellaneous songs I like are the Snowline cover. Metro is pretty good. All in all, System of a Down will always be a fan favorite of mine. In nu metal and as a band in general. But to be fair, nothing can top my Fall Out Boy phase. Middle school and freshman year were weird times. Anyways, I think I'm gonna go now. Thanks for the support on my stupid projects I upload here on the channel, and that one YouTube short of me pouring milk on a Frieza Funko. Peace out, stay for the upload, if it ever comes.
Yeah, and if you believe that, I got a big floppy wiener to dangle in your face.